David Bowe of 86. Welcome to Irish Startup TV.
Hey, how's things? How are you getting on?
Good man, very good. Very wet and miserable day here in Dublin, but we're having a chat about
Getting
business, so
through
all's
it.
good.
That's it. That's it.
So tell us a little bit about 86.
So 86 is a service for B2B trading businesses, and we allow them to easily manage and retain their current customers. So it's all along this line of customer retention, customer churn, but for a traditional kind of B2B business.
Amazing. And how is this done? Is it all through a software-based solution?
Yeah, so we're a SaaS business. So basically, what we do is we look at past customer behavior, and we look at your buying patterns in terms of what you buy, when you buy it, how much of you buy it, what price you're buying at, to accurately predict when you should come back to purchase a product again. And if that's kind of behavior change, well, that is an immediate red flag to say that there's something up here that needs to change or needs to be addressed.
Very good. And can you give an example of a customer type or a business area?
Yeah, so we work very much with wholesalers within the food service sector at the moment. So, for example, this would be a fast-moving goods. Means that there's a lot of kind of trades and purchasing going on in a short period of time, which means there's a lot of kind of transactional data that we can analyze to make very accurate predictions. And direct sales teams and telesales teams towards the relevant customers that they need to speak to.
Very good. So I suppose as an example then of a particular business type, if you're talking about wholesaling, like what are their channels or their routes to market? Because years ago everything was done with paper and pen, and I must say wholesaling is not an area that I'd be particularly familiar with. So how has that business market or model moved on in recent times?
So it's not really, like, it's actually a very old-fashioned and traditional kind of industry. So very much built upon kind of the field sales rep or the telesales rep and relationships built with customer bases. But the problem is that as a rep, you're responsible for a huge number of accounts, and so it's always a kind of where do you prioritize your time to maximize the kind of return in terms of time spent with customers. And so that's what this is about. It's about, okay, if this is your list of customers that you need to be seeing, which one is going to generate the most value for you spending your time with them? And that's what this is about.
So is this quite an innovative solution then? Because we've heard of companies like Salesforce providing customer retention and data analytics tools for online software companies, and also they've kind of gone the direction of trying to help retailers.
Yeah.
To be honest, I'm not 100% sure where that's sitting, but they were promising huge advances. Have you seen any other products in the market that are providing these types of solutions for your business area?
Yeah, so generally kind of this whole aspect of customer churn is generally focused on kind of online business. So where there's a lot of kind of data available in terms of engagement with your website or your Facebook page or you know what purchases you've made in the past. But whenever it comes to like traditional business, a lot of that is kind of based in the kind of softer side of things. So in terms of the kind of the relationship with a customer or a business, or maybe kind of outside factors that you aren't able to actually record in terms of maybe competitors or pricing issues or delivery, that kind of thing. And so it means that the kind of process in terms of how we would identify a customer that's likely to churn is quite different. So instead of actively trying to decide yes or no whether this customer is going to churn, it's about directing a sales rep to the correct individual who is showing more likelihood that they may in the future. If
Very
that
good.
makes sense. Yeah.
It does indeed, but you know, at risk of sort of maybe giving away trade secrets, are there any
No.
particular indicators that you guys
Yeah.
might use, and how do you prepare, collate, and maybe present them to the user in terms of I guess the guy or the girl that's out there
Yeah.
that's actually going to be using this information to make better business decisions?
So it's actually very, very simple. So if we look at a business that you know, we'll take food, for example. If we take a restaurant that's buying vegetables on a kind of weekly basis to produce for their food menu. And they're buying that continuously off a vegetable supplier. Now,
actually, just to dive right in there. So my understanding as of 3 years ago, because a friend of mine was telling me about this. He used to work with a large supermarket.
Yeah.
He said it's literally a lad with his mobile phone at 12 o'clock at night going, yeah, we need so many carrots, so many potatoes.
That's exactly it.
That's really wow. Okay, so this is a massive opportunity to sort out this issue.
So this is all kind of telesales. So a case of pick up the phone and say to someone on the other end, I want this, as you say, so many carrots, so many tomatoes or whatever for the following day, and that's how this kind of purchasing process kind of works out. But then along those lines, so if that order is slow to return, it's very difficult to actually, as a supplier, realize that, because you're supplying so many different product lines to such a large customer base. It's difficult to recognize whenever one kind of falls away, or maybe where our competitors come in and beat you. And so that's what we're able to pick out. So what we do is we estimate consumption rate on particular products, and based on your past purchasing and your last order, we would then predict when you should come back to buy that particular product again. If you don't, then we can start to raise that as an alert and kind of deliver what kind of value of business it is that has been lost as a result of that. And so direct salespeople to the customer, and therefore to the products that are likely to regain the most amount of business for them if they're able to bring that back.
Okay, that's amazing. So there must be, like, I don't know what the volume of restaurants is in Ireland. So I guess in terms of market size, then are you looking at a particular sort of size per order, or
so
is it, had you a particular market in mind, I guess, when you created this project?
Yeah, so it's kind of spun out of the family business and issues we were seeing there. So it would have grown up around the wholesale industry and delivering food and kind of products like that into kind of coffee shops, restaurants, hotels, that kind of thing. And one thing we were always kind of struggling with was trying to keep hold of our current customer base. It's an extremely competitive industry. And as a result of that, I kind of took it on myself to address the issue, and this is what's kind of spun out. So it's a very efficient tool for telesales and field sales team to actually dedicate their time effectively to retain their current customers.
Very good. So is this something then that, were you working in the family business and you said, hey, I got to solve this problem? Or is this something you said, I'm going to create this business? What was that motivation or that tipping point?
Yeah, so at the time, so always kind of involved, anytime we have conversations at home, it always kind of revolves around kind of what's going on with the business, and it's a massive part of the family life. At the time, I was actually working as an engineer over in London for an oil and gas business, but wasn't really enjoying it the way I thought, and so started to work on this on the side, and as a result of that, then decided, okay, I think this is something that's worth having a look at, and then took the leap.
Very good.
It worked.
Amazing. And tell us then a little bit about how you kind of got into that business space. Where in terms of the engineering, were you trained as an engineer?
No, so actually trained as a mechanical engineer, and so worked in terms of that kind of harder side of things, but wanted to kind of take a change from that, and so started to teach myself how to program.
Okay, wow.
And from that, so kind of built kind of the initial algorithm, and kind of a website around that, and kind of presented that back. And
okay, so I'm going to just stop you right there. So that's incredible. So a lot of people, when they start building technology, they come up with amazing ideas, but the first thing they have to do is go and find an engineer but
Yeah,
you were an engineer, but you're a mechanical engineer, but you took your, I guess, the invariable aptitude for mathematics that would have come with the mechanical engineering, and you taught yourself how to code so that you could build an algorithm specific to solving the problem that you wanted to solve.
that's it. That's it. Yeah, exactly.
Wow,
So
that's amazing.
thanks very much.
Yeah, it's really great.
Well, yeah, well, that's kind of the way it worked. So yeah, well, basically, because originally I kind of went around the kind of, try and create something with a freelancer on Fiverr and Upwork and this kind of stuff. But like the quality of what was getting back was just frustrating. It's never going to be something that actually you can actually deliver as a kind of production kind of application. And so for me at the time, limited resources, this is kind of the path that I decided to take, and so far it's paid off. So I'm
That's
happy with
incredible.
that. Yeah.
Wow, that's really incredible. And then when you were using some of these kind of online scenarios, like how at that stage had you got any programming skills, or how were you measuring the quality of the output?
So because whenever you get like a buggy app on your phone, it's fairly
Yeah,
obvious that it's for app. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, well, that's true.
And so basically decided that just it wasn't going to be something that I could do long term. If it was going to be something going forward. I'm not part of like the tech community originally, and so I didn't have any kind of friends or contacts that I could kind of get in touch with. And I suppose kind of stupidly in myself, I was kind of bullish and thought, sure, why the hell I can't
Well,
do it. So
necessity. What's
yeah,
it? As they say, necessity is the mother of invention.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Savage.
So just
So
kind of got
where
a
are you
bit.
at now with the product? Like, was there? Because it's always
Yeah,
nice if you can, for someone even if they don't have technical skills, if they can prototype. But if you can build a technical prototype, you're really winning. But you seem
oh,
to have
so
gotten a step further, and you've managed to build a product. Or have you had to bring anyone else in so far
yeah,
on the technical side?
yeah, so I'd still say I'm totally central to the development side of things, and kind of it's progressed quite a lot, but we're well past prototype at this stage, and working with a fair couple of companies in terms of like their sales teams and kind of delivering value on the service that we provide. I do still outsource a little bit, say to maybe Eastern Europe if I can find anybody good, or also I have a contractor based up in Enniskillen who's doing a little bit of work for me as well, and this kind of helps a lot. So there's been a lot of people that kind of added their kind of flavor to it along the way, but it'd be more founded in myself and what's been done so far.
Awesome. And how did you go about sourcing people in Eastern Europe and also in Enniskillen?
So initially, the same things I said, where outsourcing through Fiverr and Upwork was a total pain in the neck. You also realize it's kind of a necessity in order to get work done. And so even though once I had the kind of basis of knowledge of how to build the product and what I needed, then I could outsource and then properly review what was being delivered back to me to kind of.
Okay, so yeah, so that's exactly what I was getting at. So how do you review the code base, and what kind of checks and balances are
Yeah.
you putting in place to ensure that your testing, I guess, enables you to build a scalable business?
Yeah, so we have just so we work generally off Bitbucket would be our source control platform, but we'd use a kind of modern continuous integration, continuous development cycles. So we would have our suite of integration tests, unit tests, and every time a new commit is made, I have to approve that before it's pulled into the master code base.
Okay, so you're controlling all the unit testing. You're writing it and you're also performing it.
So anything that is new to be committed into the code base would have tests written alongside it. So if I've outsourced that to a developer, then they would have to write the tests to ensure that what they've created is up to standard.
Okay,
Um,
so your top tips then for if I suppose once somebody has hired somebody
Yeah.
Or maybe can we go back a step further, because this is really interesting. You know, as I said, to find somebody that has figured this out for themselves, it means you can also explain it very, very well. So if somebody is going about, maybe, you know, there's no magic solution. Ask a friend, do your best. How do you find anyone? But once you find them,
Yeah.
how do you ensure, firstly, that they're capable of doing what they say they're capable of doing, and then that you manage their output such that you ensure that if something goes wrong further down the line, you can kind of figure out where that bug is?
Yeah, so I've been burnt on this far too many times before. So a case of like where you have a software developer that promises the world, and you give them a job, and lo and behold, a month or two down the line, it's just not exactly what you thought it was going to be. I think whenever you speak to someone over the phone, you'll initially get a very good idea whether, like, just gut feeling of whether you can actually work with them or not, and that's definitely how you go off. But then alongside that, just kind of maybe a couple of simple kind of coding challenges just off the cuff of how you might solve a
Nice.
particular problem. And then after that, I would say just little and often. So a case of, look, if you're going to hire a developer, don't hire cheap. I know in the short term, it looks good, but you know, people know their value, and you won't get what the quality that you want for a small price these days. That's just the way it is. But I'd also say that you need to keep your finger on the pulse. So you want daily commits, and you want to be daily meetings as well to ensure that things are on board. So it's definitely not a hands-off process. And I would say for anybody that's trying to develop a product, you would really need to have some kind of technical understanding in terms of the underlying technology that's being implemented there. Or that would be my views on it anyway.
Yeah, never press commit at 5 o'clock on a Friday unless you're prepared to stay up all night.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Or just hope it's the weekend and like and nobody's going to be touching much. Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Okay, that's your light's gone off, but don't
Lights
worry.
gone off there.
That's really, really top advice. So in terms of going back to the product itself, you have a little bit of funding. What's next on the roadmap?
Yeah,
You've got customers already. That's always a good thing.
yeah, exactly. So we're up and going with a couple of wholesalers around the country, and it's now working with them to kind of iterate on the product and make sure that they get the best out of it. After that, from the new year, it's really going to be the start of a sales push. We have a product that's now out of development. It's in full production, and so from the new year, we're really looking to press on and try and scale the business to as far as we can go in as quick as possible time. That's
Fantastic.
the plan.
So right now, if people are watching, tell your friends. You want to give us maybe a 30-second soundbite to remind us about what the product is and who should be interested in signing up?
Yeah, so A6 is a simple solution for wholesalers to retain and manage their customers.
Fantastic. David Bowe, thanks very much for speaking with us today.
Thanks very much.
Look forward to keeping track of the progress over the coming months.